Hello and welcome to the MindFire Studio Overview demo. My name is Mary Trotta. I'm the Director of Sales with MindFire, and my goal today is to just share the basic features and functions of the platform. And if you'd like a more in-depth demo, we can always schedule a one-on-one meeting with you to take you through that. So I'm going to start with a brief background on MindFire, and then we'll jump right into the software platform. So MindFire is a technology company. We're based in Irvine, California. We've been in business about 15 years now. We're privately held, a fairly small company. We have just under 40 employees, and we offer a cloud-based solution. So the platform is on the Amazon Web Services cloud, very secure. So we've grown year after year. We have over 700 customers today. We call our customers solution partners. Most of our customers are service providers who license the technology and then take the services out to their end user customers, but we do have a fair number of end users working directly as well. We have expanded worldwide. We're in over 25 countries now, running thousands of campaigns at any given time. So it's a very solid, robust platform, and we're working with many different types and sizes of companies. So just to give you an overview of the Studio, Studio is a marketing automation platform, and it's going to allow you to create highly personalized marketing workflows that bring in all different types of media. So you can use different channels like direct mail, email, social media, text messaging, even voice campaigns. So lots of flexibility there. It allows you to leverage triggers. So if you're doing a campaign and you've got an audience that you want to nurture over time, the system allows for you to set up automation steps based on how they're responding or not responding to your communication. And of course, we've got great visual reporting and analytics. There's three main components to the Studio. So if we look at the architecture of it, the engine itself is cloud-based. So this sits, again, I said, on the Amazon Web Services cloud, very secure, all the highest levels of data security certification in place. Your user interface actually sits locally. So you'll download a small program onto your desktop. You can work with a Mac or PC. You can have as many seats to this as you need. So this is the UI where you're going to be laying out, configuring, setting up, creating campaigns. Now, as you're doing that, the system is generating this marketing application markup language. We call it MAML. We're actually in the process of patenting the MAML. And this is a combination of XML along with some proprietary tags generated here. And the MAML is the language that the engine understands. So basically, you will create it here locally. You hit publish. It sends the MAML to the cloud, and then the engine runs whatever instructions are contained in here. Now, this MAML is a key differentiator for us. So if you're looking at other options out there, the thing about the MAML is this is a language. It allows for you to plug into any outside system. So we are very flexible to integrate, and we've done quite a number of integrations already. We've integrated into print workflow, such as the HP Indigo, where you can send print directly to a press. We've integrated with PageFlex web-to-print storefront, as well as others. We have custom storefronts that have been integrated, Salesforce CRM and others, and lots of different apps like payment apps and voice apps, and you name it. It can be done if you have an API and a little programming skills. So that's the basic overview of it. I'm going to jump out of here now and just jump right into Studio. And I've got it loaded here on my desktop. So when I open this up, if I'm a service provider, you're going to see a number of what we call sub-accounts. So you can have individual sub-accounts for each one of your customers. This is what keeps their data and their reports and campaigns separate from each other. If you're an end user and you're working directly, you'll have one account here. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into a sub-account. And when I open this up, Just going to give you kind of a brief tour here. This is what we call the canvas for laying out your campaigns. Over here we have some tools for marketing channels as well as some of the integrations that we've done. And up here we have contact management. And just to the right here we have a preview of the mammal. So right now the mammal has nothing really to it. We haven't started programming yet. So I'm going to start with contact management. This is where you're going to go ahead and upload your contacts. And you can get contacts in here via a manual upload with a CSV file. We can use an API to call out to some other data source and on a schedule pull data in. We can connect with the CRM and have the updating happening in real time. And you could also have data coming in maybe through an outside website, maybe a contact form on your website. That could also feed directly into Studio. And all of those different ways of getting data in can be happening simultaneously. And you are not limited to the number of fields of detail that you want to keep track of on your contacts. So we've got basic standard fields that are fixed, things like address, phone number, contact information, and then custom fields would be really anything that you want them to be. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail for the overview. We can dig into that in a one-on-one demo. So I'm jumping back over here and I'm going to plan out a campaign. And basically the way it works, if we're going to do an outbound campaign, we'll start with a target audience. And I'm just going to drag this over here and then double click on it to configure it. So there's two types of filters here. So I can filter my data. I can either say I want to send to all of my contacts or I want to create a segment filter. And the segmentation filter uses standard or behavioral. So standard looks at all your database fields. So these would be all the fields that I had uploaded into the contact management section. So let's say I'm looking for people who are in the state of California. So I would just call out state equals California. I can even take a peek and see how many I have there. So I've got almost 1,600 people in California. And then I can add other criteria as well. I might want people in California who are female or male or really using any of these fields to define that. So that's our standard filter. Now the behavior filter takes things a step further. Once you've uploaded contacts into the database, every touch that you do moving forward is going to be logged into those contact records. So we keep track of everything. We know what you sent, how people have responded to it, whether they've opened it or clicked on it or landed on it. All of those things are being kept track of. So we can say, I want people in California who, let's say in the last 7 months, have done something. And there's lots of things we're keeping track of. So we could say performed an event. And an event is something the system is tracking, such as they opened an email, or they did not open an email, or they landed on a page, or clicked a link, or scanned a QR code, or something. So we have many, many events we're keeping track of. And all of those events can also have scores associated with it. So we have lead scoring built in. So you could say opening an email is worth 5 points. Landing on a page is worth 10 points. Maybe I'm looking for people who have at least 50 points in the last 7 months. That way it allows me to sort of zero in on my warmer leads in the group. So lots of different behaviors that we can pull into our filters. And I'm going to go ahead and name this list California, and now I have my target audience. And you can have as many different target audiences in your campaign as you want. You may have, one plan of communication for people in California and something else for people in New York. And so you can maybe do an A/B split test. That would be another example. All right, so we've got our target audience set. Now we just have to decide how we're going to get the word out to them. How are we going to message to them? So we've got lots of channels here. So we could send direct mail. We can send email. We can send text messages. And we even have integrated a third-party app that allows the studio to make phone calls for you. So I've got 4 different channels here. That's a pretty good multi-channel touch campaign. So for direct mail, you need to export the data in order to do your variable data printing. So this allows you to choose what files or what fields you need to export. So maybe my communication is going to say, hello, Mary, and it's got my address on there. And if you're using Pearls, the personalized URL, this is where you would export that. So by default, the Perl is going to be first name and last name, and then we would just fill in the domain that you've got assigned to that campaign. So when this exports, you can print that Perl. So, and you can add any other fields that you want as well, and these are all coming from that contact database. So we've got our data lined up. We're going to determine who needs to receive that data file, and we'll schedule when that needs to go out. So we want the list of people in California to be delivered, maybe tomorrow morning at this time. You can pick a time zone. And we're ready with our direct mail. Now that's the most basic way of incorporating direct mail into the campaign. To take it a step further, we've actually done an integration with the HP Indigo. And we can work with other presses too. I'm just going to explain this one here. So with the Indigo, we take it a step further. We have a plugin that goes with SmartStream Designer, the variable data composition tool for HP. And with that plugin, you can design your print template, you can tag all the variable fields, and then you're going to import that print template here, and then we're going to map the fields so that we've got fields here and we've got fields in Studio. We'll map them back and forth from the print piece to Studio, and then we'll schedule this, and when the time comes, the system is going to take that print template, it's going to take that data, merge them, create a print-ready PDF, and then push that to a hot folder over at your printer or your own location if you're doing the printing. And so you have a print-ready PDF that can go straight to press. So we basically automate the step of downloading that and doing that merge offline. And that will work with other presses as well. For more information on that, we'll cover that in a one-on-one demo. So we've got our direct mail handled. Now, if email is going to be part of your campaign, you're just going to open up the email. We have an email engine built in. And if you know HTML, you would just hand code it here or copy and paste it here from some other source like Dreamweaver. If you don't know HTML, you can use our rich text editor. So if you want to start from scratch, you can use these function keys to create your content. And your third option is to use one of our templates. So we have a template library here, so all you have to do is go in and swap the content. So basically it's set up so that you can work with somebody more advanced who knows HTML, or a novice like me. I don't know HTML. I would use the editor or the template library. Now in your creative here, you can bring in variables. So we have our contact variables. These come from the contact database. So this is basically using it like a mail merge. So I might want to say I want first name and last name. I would just click on that variable and paste it in here, and then we can preview this with a seed record, and now we can see what it looks like. Now in addition to that, we can also do content variables. So this allows you to change the versioning. So maybe there's a different background image or a paragraph of text or something that needs to be versioned. So let's say if they're female, you want to show one image. If they're male, you're going to show a different image. So you will upload your images or your content that doesn't belong in a database field. You would upload that to a web accessible server such as Dropbox or something, and then we'll just write rules and point to that. So we'd write a rule that says if they're female, show this, if they're male, show that. So it allows for versioning as well as personalization. And we're going to go ahead and schedule that email. So I want that to go out to the folks in California, and we're going to keep that at Pacific time. And I'm going to give this email a name so that when I see it on the reports, I recognize it. And let's say I want that email to go out on Tuesday at 9 a.m. So once I set this up and I publish this campaign, it's going to send the mammal to the cloud. The engine's going to pick it up and run that email at that time. We have a really cool repeating feature as well. So if you'd like to do, let's say you're doing a monthly newsletter, and that needs to go out on the 5th day of every month, you can set this up to just push that out at that time every month. You would just change your content each month. So you can do that, if you've got weekly or daily communication or annual communication, or even based on a date that's in the database. So this will pick up any of your date fields in there. So let's say you want to do a birthday campaign. So maybe like 3 days before the birthday, you want to send them a message with a coupon or something. Or maybe there's a date in there, like a contract sign-up date. So somebody signs up and for your service, and 3 days later, you want to send an email that says, how are things going? And then maybe a week later or 10 days later, you want to send another email checking in. So you can set this up and then set up a timeline of touches. Okay, so that's our scheduling. And then under each of these elements, you will find this Events tab. And these are the events that I mentioned earlier in the behavior filter that we're keeping track of. So these are the actionable aspects of email. So we're keeping track of who we've sent things to, you know, who's opened it, opted out, etc. So if you'd like to use points here for lead scoring, maybe I'll give you 5 points when you open an email. I'll measure that one time. If you opt out, maybe I'll take 20 points away. You're not so hot if you're going to opt out. And clicking links and marking spam, and these things can be used for scoring if you'd like. Okay, so that's our email. Text messaging is very similar. Your basic same idea. We're going to give you a short code to use. You'll map it to the mobile phone number in the from the contact database, and then you'll set up your text. And you could put a link in here, maybe a URL to a landing page if you'd like. And you'll just schedule that when it needs to go, and the events related to SMS are here. And the last channel here I have is the voice app. So we've integrated with a third-party app here. We used the API and pulled this in, and this allows us to have the studio call and deliver a message, and that message can be variable. So it will do text-to-speech. It's kind of like Siri, not quite as smooth as Siri, but you know, it's a nice voice. And here we can do a customized message. So, hello, Mary, just calling to confirm your appointment at blank. So we'd fill in the variable, and we'd just read that from the database. So you can do that. There's other options here. We could have it call and record key presses, record a message. We can even have it call and say, you know, please hold to be connected to an operator, you know, at ABC Company. So that's the voice app. So I've got my channels all laid out here, and now I want to drive them to an inbound. So we have several inbounds here. We actually have 2. You can drive them to a microsite that's hosted on the MindFire servers, and if you're using Pearls and you want to do personalized one-to-one pages, you can do that. So we would just drag this down here and connect all of our different channels to the microsite, and then you'll lay it out up here. So you can have as many pages as you want. You can do a very complex site. You can do something very simple. So I've got a 2-page site here. Let's say this is my, we'll call this my home page. So this is the first page that you're going to land on, and I'm just going to copy my HTML here. So let me go ahead and open up a simple landing page that I have. And let's say this is the first page that you designed, and you've designed it in, let's say, Dreamweaver. And so I'm going to go ahead and just grab the code from this page, and I'm going to close that, and I'm just going to paste it in here. And when we preview this, there it is. And you'll see it's just some basic info. I've got some form fields here. I've got a couple of survey questions down here at the bottom. You know, what's your favorite destination and your favorite color? And the system will find any form fields that you have there, so it'll pick up on those. And then you can make these required or not. We can give points for the different ways that they answer the questions. I'm not going to go into goals today on this demo, but we can do that one-on-one if you'd like. And then other things, the events that we're keeping track of in the landing pages would be the contact that landed on the page, they submitted a form, they added their contact information. All of that can be scored. Okay, so that's my home page, and then let's say I have a thank you page. I'm going to just call this thank you. And now we've got our microsite ready to go. And let's go ahead and rename the microsite too. We'll call this demo. So now what we want to do is we want to monitor what's going on this page. If we send out some communication, we drive them to a microsite, we want to be triggered and alerted when somebody lands there and does something. So to create a trigger, you're just going to take a target audience and connect it to the element. So in this case, I'm connecting it to the landing page and the microsite, so it's now monitoring those events. So the events there are the different pages that I created. So let's say somebody submits a form on the microsite. They submitted a form, and I want to do a behavior filter here. So they submitted a form, and they provided data, and we're looking at the demo site on the home page, and they answered the question that their favorite destination is Hawaii. Well, then we want to send them an email that says, here's the great deals that we have on Hawaii. And we also want to send an alert to the sales rep that says, you know, Mary responded, she likes Hawaii. So this can be a sales email trigger. And we could take that a step further, and we've done an integration with Salesforce. We could actually set it up to insert a task in Salesforce. So we could create a task there that says, Mary landed on the page, she says she likes Hawaii, and call her about Hawaii. And we can go ahead and update her information in Salesforce, update her contact information. So it works both ways, it synchronizes. So that's just a very brief touch on the CRM integration. Again, in a one-on-one demo, we can cover that further. So that is just an absolute basic overview. This is a really simple campaign here. One other thing I want to touch on in terms of inbounds is our website listener. So instead of doing a landing page here, or in addition to doing the landing page here, sometimes people might leave. They don't click the link to go to the landing page. They jump over to your website. So we can put some Google Analytics code on a third-party website and track people, through the use of a cookie. We can see where they went. And then let's say they jump over to your website and they look at certain pages and they click on a link for pricing. We can be tracking that, push that back into Studio, and then send a trigger to a sales rep that says, Mary visited the landing page, then she went and clicked on the pricing link on your website. So any and all of those actions can be tracked, pushed back into Studio, and so on. A couple other things I'd like to point out here, just some basics, is we do offer templates. So we have some campaigns like webinar registrations, trade show promotions, newsletters. We even have self-promo campaigns in place, so that basically we provide you with the MAML. So if we look here at the MAML for this campaign, we would just provide you with the MAML, you upload it, and then you could easily make changes to it. The framework of the campaign is really completely done for you. You're just going to go in and tweak it to fit your needs. So we do offer templates. And as far as reporting goes, as people travel through the campaign, there's all the different events we're keeping track of. We can look at that through reporting. So you can get to reporting either by clicking on this link to go into the dashboard. So if you're working behind the scenes here in the studio, you can get to the reporting that way. Or if you're going to be providing your customers a link to reporting, you can use any domain that you like, and we can point that to your reports. We can personalize this to your company. So when they log in, they see your logo here. And basically when they log in, they're going to see only their own campaigns, their own account basically. So if I choose an account, this is the actual live MindFire account here. And if I choose that, by default, it's going to give me 3 months worth of data. So let me just take this back to, we'll go with just the last month. And so the first page that you see here is an overview. So this is real. These are our real campaigns. We've got about 21,000 names in our database. And in the last 30 days, 32% of them have engaged with us in one way, shape, or form. They've either opened an email or clicked a link or landed on a page or something. So we've had some activity from 32% of our database. 22% of them have actually landed on a landing page, and 2% have filled out. We've had 500 people fill out survey responses. And we have a number of active campaigns in place right now. So different webinars, and this is a conference that we're going to go to. So lots of different campaigns going on, or programs. So if I jump into, we just had a release webinar. I can click on this, And this shows you that particular campaign. So this was back in July. So just a couple weeks ago, we did a webinar. Today, we've had 3 visitors to this program. 1 person has filled out a lead response. 5,600 people engaged in that program. 301 visited the page. 234 filled out surveys. And we used just email in this particular program. So we had a number of email touches that went out starting a couple weeks before the webinar. So we had our original invitation, then we had a follow-up email, then we had a reminder email, a last chance to register. So we had 4 different email touches, as well as lead alerts and things like that. But you can see here in the reporting, you can see how many people were in that blast, how many opened it, clicked the links, marked us as spam. Each of these links will lead to the data behind it. So if let's say the invitation email, 114 people clicked on that link, and here they are, and I could sort them by score. So here's Ramin, and let's say we open this up. Ramin is our highest scoring person. Now Ramin happens to be the Vice President of Marketing for MindFire. So that's why I'm opening up his record here. So the last time he was active with us was a day ago. He's got over 4,000 points, scoring points here. You can see every campaign, the history of every campaign he's been a part of, over the last 6 or 7 months here. And we can drill down into more information of what we know about him in terms of the contact database. These would be all of the different form fields that he's filled out on all of the different campaigns. So let's say we click on it, we can see how he answered the questions that were on that particular survey form. This is the account level. So there's you can get a look at when he was warm and he got hot about 4 months ago, and then he cooled off, and then he got hot again. And then over here on the left, you will see a timeline, so we can have a visual representation of what we sent to him and how he's responded to it. So last month on the 25th, we sent an email. This is an icon for him visiting the MindFire Studio website. We can see when he's opened emails, when he's clicked on links, when he's landed. He clicked on a link here yesterday. We could see when he's landed on landing pages, when he scored points. So that's all there for you as well. So a lot of very detailed information, and this is all accessible via the web. It's accessible by mobile phone, tablet, and we can even set it up so if you have a different place that you want to display all or some of this information, we can pull this data out and you can display it in some other reporting function that you have. So so that's just your basic overview on reporting. Again, if you want to dig down deeper, we can do that in an individual webinar. So I think that about covers the basics to give you, enough to whet your appetite. We would love to spend some more time with you. So if you're interested or you have any questions on anything I covered, please give me a call. You'll find my number here on the screen. So you can either call me or email me. If you want to test drive the studio, you can just go to mindfirestudio.com and you can set up a free trial. So just click on free sign up here. The pricing that you see here, this is for our end user. If you would like to cover the white label pricing, we can do that on an individual call. So thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to meeting you and talking with you in the future.